Hey there, welcome back to Matcha. Some frames whisper secrets before they shove you awake. A fingertip that trembles like a confession, a sudden color flip that changes everything, a camera arc that drags a memory into the light. Watch the small things, micro-expressions that explode into meaning, smears that translate panic, quiet pans that set you up for a gut punch, because each entry peels back a different sleight of hand from the animator's toolkit. Ready to see how motion can reveal, deceive, and wound? If you don't spot your favorite here, part 1 is linked in the description. Now, let's dive into number 10.
Number 10. Devilman Crybaby. Devilman Crybaby rips through the screen with fevered frames that feel alive. Every smear, stretch, and surreal distortion serves emotion, not gimmick. Science Saru treats movement like sculpture, lines bending into panic, faces liquefying into confession, and sudden eruptions of motion that make terror intimate. Fight scenes detonate into choreographed chaos, where the camera itself seems to howl. The animation doesn't merely depict madness, it performs it. Color shifts land like drum hits, and quiet minimalist moments are given room so the wild bursts register like electric shocks. It is messy by design and precise in impact, each off-kilter frame chosen to force a reaction. For anyone hungry for animation that bends rules and rewrites intensity, this is a masterclass in visual feeling. Hold that heat. Number 9 takes the energy and pours it into neon rain and kinetic city percussion. Get ready for relentless, pulsing city rhythm.
Number 9. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Cyberpunk Edgerunners slams into view like a drum beat you can see. Neon punctures, rain that streaks across faces, and camera choreography that makes the city itself feel alive and violent. The animation treats motion as music. Cuts hit like snare snaps, wide swivels become crescendos, and every sprint or punch reads with the clarity of a tightly scored sequence. Characters move with ragged, kinetic precision, limbs blur into streaks and then snap into painfully readable impact. Color isn't background, it's a character, slashing the frame and changing the emotion of a shot mid-beat. Action scenes are manic but never messy, because every wild camera angle and smear has purpose to make you feel the rhythm of survival. Even quiet moments hum with texture. Small gestures rendered with uncanny detail so the loud parts land harder. This series doesn't just animate a world, it composes it. Keep that pulse in your ears. Next, we slow the tempo into something older and stranger at number 8, where painted patterns move like living scrolls.
Mononoke moves like a brushstroke stretched across time. Every frame arranged with the care of a woodblock print. Every pattern a living, breathing texture. The show treats flat color and ornate design as motion engines. A single pattern sleeve can ripple through a scene and carry an entire beat, while negative space and rigid composition make each small shift feel monumental. Animation here isn't about flashy fluidity. It's about deliberate choreography of shapes, where a tilt of the head or the slow spread of a pattern reads like a ritual. The result is hypnotic. Horror that doesn't rely on jumps, but on the accumulative pressure of design and timing. Eyes linger because there's always another ornamental detail that moves just enough to change the meaning of the shot. Sounds minimal, but the restraint is the strength. Every motion feels intentional, every frame earned. Hold on to that ceremonial pace. We're dropping the ritual for surgical comedy next at number 7, where tiny faces become full-blown battlefield weapons.
Number 7. Kaguya-sama Love is War. Kaguya-sama Love is War treats every twitch like a strategic strike. The show turns micro-expressions into full-blown cinematic weapons. A blink becomes a plot point. A sideways glance detonates laughter. Animation here is surgical. Flash cuts and exaggerated perspectives land with the rhythm of a punchline, while sudden, hyper-detailed close-ups sell emotions so precisely you can feel the gears turning in a character's head. Timing is everything. The team stretches and snaps beats so that silence itself becomes loud. Visual gags are choreographed, not slapped on. and the contrast between calm composure and frantic internal chaos is rendered with razor clarity. Even the simple act of breathing gains dramatic weight because the animation chooses the perfect second to hold and then release. It's comedic filmmaking disguised as TV animation, and each tiny choice compounds into big, undeniable laughs. Keep that tactical timing in mind, because number 6 uses the exact same precision to make athletic motion feel like sacred obsession.
Number 6, Haikyuu. Haikyuu stages sport like a confession. Every spike reads as a shouted truth. The animation treats the court as a theater of motion. Launches are perfectly timed, landings sell weight, and slowdowns don't float, they sharpen intention. Camera placement feels deliberate. Angles amplify struggle. And the edits string together anticipation so your breath waits with the players. Motion is layered. Character arcs show up in how someone moves, not just what they say. Small ticks, a tightened hand, a throat swallow, a shift in footing are drawn with care and amplified by framing, so the big plays hit with irrefutable payoff. The team balances kinetic energy with readable clarity, making chaos feel orchestrated and every rally cinematic. That obsession with motion turns routine plays into mythic moments. Hold that sacred athletic pulse. Now we leave the court and step into something older and harsher. Samurai blades and haunted textures wait at number 5.
Number 5, Dororo. Dororo wears its scars like a map. Every cut, shadow, and ragged breath is animated with weathered honesty. Combat here isn't flashy gymnastics. It's small, precise beats that sell consequence. A blade's tremor, a staggered step, a single dropped hand that tells you everything about a wound. Backgrounds look lived in, textured with grit, so characters don't move in a vacuum, but through history. The animators trust silence as much as motion. A held frame lengthens pain, and a tiny shift releases it with terrible clarity. Faces register strain in micro details, and those micro details compound until an entire duel feels personal and exhausted. Shot choices keep choreography readable while preserving brutality, so each strike lands for both the eye and the gut. It's the kind of animation that makes your chest tighten before the music even swells. Keep that raw, tactile rhythm in your head. At number 4, the animation pulls the same emotional weight, but on an even colder, more relentless battlefield.
Number 4, Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga grinds its animation into something that feels earned. Every expression looks like a life lived, and every movement carries the weight of history. Faces aren't just drawn, they settle into weather, fatigue, regret. The show trusts micro-acting, a tightened jaw, a slow blink, a hand that trembles before it strikes. Those tiny choices stack until entire battles land with a real, aching consequence. The camera lingers where it must, then cuts with cold economy so violence never feels gratuitous. It feels inevitable. Backgrounds are textured and lived in, giving motion a place to bruise against. Wind, mud, and blood all register on the animation as if the world itself had memory. When combat arrives, it hits with the truth of earned pain. Strikes feel heavy, recovery looks costly, and the payoff is almost brutal in its honesty. The result is animation that teaches you to care before it breaks you. Hold on to that deliberate, devastating cadence. Next, we detonate into an all-out visual riot where every frame screams with anarchic energy.
Number 3, Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill doesn't ease into the screen, it detonates. Every frame signposts revolt. Exaggerated poses snap like lightning bolts. Line work vibrates with intent. And the edits ricochet so fast your eyes chase meaning out of chaos. Studio Trigger treats exaggeration as a language, and the animators speak it fluently. Absurdity is precise. Slapstick is balletic. And every over-the-top beat is composed to hit a specific emotional register. Motion here is a tool of expression, not decoration. Speeds spike and collapse to sell impact. Angles slash to amplify attitude. And smears stretch just long enough to turn a gesture into a declaration. The show weaponizes color, contrast, and rhythm so that even the wildest sequences remain readable and insanely satisfying. It's anarchic but engineered, reckless yet deliberate. Watching it is like being inside a raging anthem where every visual choice screams intention.
Hold that riotous energy, because number 2 dials everything back into disciplined brilliance, proving consistency can be as devastating as chaos.
At number 2, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is animation tuned to storytelling. Every action is lucid, every beat engineered to land. Bones build sequences like clockwork, attacks flow into reactions, reactions into consequence, and the whole scene reads with the surgical clarity of a well-rehearsed play. The fights move with economy and grace. You never lose the characters in the chaos because the staging is relentless about readability. Subtle character motion, a hand that trembles, a blink that lingers, carries as much weight as an explosion, and the animators know exactly when to hold a frame so emotion can deepen. It's the rare show where spectacle and soul share the same craft bench. Flashes of grandeur never drown the human detail. Color, timing, and shot choice are all calibrated to serve the scene's heart, which is why the emotional hits feel earned rather than manufactured. Consistency here is a weapon, a steady, unforgiving polish that lets the big moments sting harder. Keep that disciplined power in mind, because at number 1, the style tricks you with beauty before it turns devastating, a finale that leverages wonder as its sharpest tool.
Made in Abyss arrives like a lullaby that knows its ending. Each frame crafted with painstaking tenderness, so the world feels tactile and alive. Light pools in caverns like liquid gold, mist curls with believable weight, and background detail isn't filler, but a living ecosystem that rewards a slow look. Characters move with tiny human rhythms, a fingertip brushing a stone, a breath fogging the air, pupils that shift with a gravity all their own. The animation leans on texture and timing, long, languid pans that let the viewer fall into place, and then sudden, surgical bursts of motion that make violence land with horrific clarity. That contrast is the show's core trick. Beauty establishes trust. Motion then rips it away. Pain isn't cheap shock here. Breaks, collapses, and anguish are drawn with anatomical cruelty and compositional thought, so each horrific beat reads as inevitable, not random. Sound, lighting, and frame choice conspire, so the visuals don't just show suffering, they make you register its cost. This is god-tier craft because it uses gentleness as camouflage, and because the animators commit to every agonizing detail. Hold that doubled edge of wonder and dread, and that brings us to the end of the countdown.
Do you agree with my list? Which one you think deserved to be in the list more than these 10 entries? Drop your picks in the comments, and let's see which series really stand the test of time when 2025 comes to a close. Maybe leave a like and subscribe to make a guy happy after hours of editing. Press on that bell icon too while you're at it, so you will be notified about all of my latest new videos, and as for now, I'll catch you later.